I'm Vera Drew.
And I'm Ember Knight.
Welcome to Jackass.
Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass.
Did you ever see a Kevin Smith movie?
Bobby, did I ever see a Kevin Smith movie?
A Jay and Silent Bob movie?
Yes. Thank you for interpreting.
Sorry, you would. Yeah, like I was like, well.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yes,
What were your thoughts?
I saw Dogma, and I've seen other ones, but I did really like Dogma.
Yeah, it's probably his best, but it's still, he's not a good filmmaker.
It was really good casting for God.
Yeah, no, that's like, oh God. You know, I've been listening to Jagged Little Pill. It's
an incredible record.
Yeah.
It's an amazing record.
It's like, it's the only record by like a 22-year-old that I can listen to without getting really resentful.
22?
She by the time she was like closer to our age, she was already in Dogma.
You. Fuck you. Just kidding. That's crazy.
Should we let her in, or do you want? Should we keep bantering?
I suppose we'll let her in.
I like this. This is like we're easing into the show.
It's a rainy day where we are.
Yeah.
It's just a cozy time.
I like it. You got your tea. It's like.
I'm like a little sailor.
Yeah, I don't know where I was. I couldn't come up with a metaphor.
I'm into sailor aesthetic right now. I'm into.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm very into Jacques Cousteau, like French sailor boy.
It's such a natural trajectory for
I
you.
know.
I'm in like lesbian fighter pilot.
I see that.
Like, yeah, like not just because of the jumpsuit, but just in general. Like, I feel probably how Amelia Earhart felt. Like not to compare my life to the bravery of a pilot, but making this movie really is venturing into the darkness, and I'm sure that I will never come back after it's done.
That's beautiful. You're gonna disappear into the Bermuda Triangle.
I hope so. So then I can meet the aliens,
And Amelia.
She's with the Palladians.
She's
hey,
with
Rose.
the Palladians now. Hi. This is Rose Gunn, everybody.
Rose. At FlowerGuardian on YouTube and at RIP Cinema on Twitter. How are you today, Rose?
I'm doing great. I just had gay sex.
Oh, good. I'm so glad you said that, because we were recording the Zoom call. You said that earlier, and I didn't want to message you later and say, hey, can we use the part where you said you had gay sex?
Now we know.
Yeah, now we know
that we
can.
Right, so hashtag feminism, trans rights. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
No, trans rights. Did you say trans rights at all during it?
Just at the end, yeah.
That's
If
good.
anybody ever asks you, have you had gay sex, you can link them to this episode and you'll show
Exactly,
other
yeah.
people corroborating that you've said this before.
Yeah, or if you ever need like eyewitnesses for a trial for some reason to be proven in a court of law that you have had gay sex.
Or that you've
That's
bragged
true.
about it.
Yeah. What is your history with the show Jackass, which we just watched? We just finished watching. We had a good run tonight.
Good run.
I couldn't tell if that was a good run or not. Jackass is something that has always existed kind of like ambiently in my life. Like, I've never watched it. I've never seen any of the movies. I didn't know it was also the show. I knew there were YouTube clips and stuff. It's something I've seen little snippets of, and more importantly, I think totally influenced the culture that I grew up in. Because, I grew up in like deep country, Maritimes, Canada, and if you don't got anything to do, I mean, I saw stuff in this episode where I was like, oh yeah, no, I've seen guys just do that just for fun. Like, you just take a little, the big wheel
big
down
wheel.
the hill and you crash it because you just have nothing else to do.
Yes.
So Jackass definitely like I think influenced that because people started recording it and people got like crazier with it and all that. But this is my first like real Jackass experience.
Oh wow. Well,
Congratulations.
when you put it that way, I'm also like honored that like this was the real. We are the official Jackass podcast.
This is the way to
That's
do
right,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Spreading
that's
the
I
good
mean,
word.
that's like I think really that's what we really have zeroed in on the show in the last couple weeks. I think is that like this really is just like it really is just a show that's what it's like growing up around a lot of boys.
Yeah, and it's you know, it's really a chicken and the egg kind of thing. Like this is theater. This is a mirror to humanity because kids have been doing dumb shit because they're bored forever. This show legitimized it, pedestalized it, put it on MTV, and then everybody watched the show and got more ideas for more dumb shit to do.
Yeah.
Circle of
I was
life.
thinking watching there's one sequence in this episode I guess we watched where I think Johnny Knoxville flags a bull. He does the matador thing. And watching it, I was like, oh my God, this is the kind of stuff that like Werner Herzog tries to capture.
Yes.
Like man tempting beast, like trespassing upon the natural realm. I was like, Johnny Knoxville's like a Timothy Treadwell.
No, I mean,
He should direct the fourth movie.
oh yeah, no.
I love
Well,
that.
I don't know if we should use that part. You just, I'll leave that up to our editor. But no, I actually do. Did he direct Action Point? Who directed the
Werner Herzog?
No, not Werner. Oh, I thought you meant Johnny Knoxville.
No, Werner Herzog should direct the fourth Jackass
that I agree
movie.
with.
I was confused. I was like, why does Vera think that's bad?
I thought you were throwing massive shade at.
No.
Okay.
A Jeff Tremaine?
Yeah.
I would,
Yeah.
but
no,
in this
that's
case, no.
why I assumed.
The director of the show.
This is why we're a good team, because I just derailed your really funny Werner Herzog joke.
And we brought it right back around, and now it's not funny to anybody.
I saw that you snuck a vape.
I did sneak a vape. This also, the other director this reminded me of was Harmony Korine. I realized after watching Jackass, I was like, oh, that's what like Harmony Korine is like pulling his imagery from.
Big time. And Harmony Korine's a skater. He's in skate culture.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That
so it's
makes
interesting
sense.
that like
Yeah.
he is considered high art, but Jackass is considered stupid
Yeah.
and for babies.
It really is weird because like I actually would think of. I mean, like I love Harmony Korine like so much, but like I would have always just associated him with Jackass, I think, for that reason, because he's also just like a tiny, if you ever get the chance, watch, it's 4 videos, it's 4 interviews of Harmony Korine on David Letterman, and he's on
I've seen-
acid.
Oh my god.
I didn't know there were 4 of them. I saw one of them, I think.
I think there's actually 3, because it was the first 3 movies, and then the 4th is David Letterman saying, we were supposed to have Harmony Korine on tonight, but he was too fucked up and like busted into the other guest dressing room. So like Harmony Korine's fucking rules. Like
Yeah.
in this for the same reasons that Jackass rules.
I was just thinking when you said this, the only person who could have played the part in Spring Breakers as well as James Franco would be Johnny Knoxville.
I could see that, yeah.
That would be, I mean, like, I love Spring Breakers, but that would make it a masterpiece.
I know.
Oh my god.
The Jackass movies, like judging just by like trailers and stuff, that's what I kind of associated the imagery of Jackass with, which is a much more cleaned up version.
Yes.
It seems, because what you just showed me reminded me much more of like you were saying, like skate videos. It felt like something you would find in a bargain bin on VHS that would be like top 50 skate, like falls, injury.
Absolutely.
You know, wipeouts.
Yeah, I think that was maybe a Spike Jonze influence, but definitely towards the movies they started to go for like more of like a twee aesthetic to like clash,
Yeah.
so that it like in a way emphasizes the things they're doing more because of the contrast. But yeah, they definitely made the aesthetic very like pastel. And
It also I don't know why I bring up like Bugs Bunny and Looney. It's because it's like one of my only frames of reference. But like
it's one of the best things.
I think it like really amps up that level because it is like people getting hit in the nuts with like fancy music, but also like still there's like a great I think it's Johnny Knoxville. It's something with roller skates. I think no. I can't remember. There's one where they use Johnny Are You Queer? Do you remember what that is? That song? Snake Ball Pit. And it's like, that is still like very skate video-y, but like it still does have that like colorful cartoon vibe.
Yeah.
And like watching the Matador one today specifically, it is just like, yeah, no, like Knoxville is just fucking Bugs Bunny.
he wants to dress up in little costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that Matador one's straight out of Bugs Bunny. Bugs
Yes.
Bunny loves dressing up as a Matador.
He loves it.
Yeah.
Um,
As a Matador and as a woman. This is Bugs Bunny's, well, I'm not gonna
Yes, it's true.
Johnny Knoxville
You're right.
reminded me a lot of Eric Andre. And Eric Andre is like clearly influenced by Bugs Bunny. Like that's definitely like part of what he's doing on his show.
Yeah.
There were two tonight today. I shouldn't say tonight because maybe you're listening to this first thing when you wake up.
We hope that you all are.
I hope it's like the sun comes up. I hope it's like 5 a.m. and you're listening to this and this is how you're starting your day.
Just put it on a playlist.
The
Never
Morning
stop.
Zoo crew.
Yeah. Whoa. Surfy and the Goof.
Which one am I?
It could go either way.
Okay, all right, okay.
Because neither of us surf, but both of us are goofs. But I could see either of us insisting that we be called surfy. Zip
I
Popping
insist.
and Big Wheel 2. I could not watch either of those.
Zit popping.
Zip
Don't like zit popping. Don't like it.
Because I was gonna ask you, like, because I know people that like can watch that stuff, and also they don't get like pleasure out of it, but it's like satisfying in the same way that like I guess like ASMR is or something. But I can't fucking watch that. It was somebody
Horrifying.
popping a zit. We don't know who because the face was blurred.
Yeah, this person remained anonymous, but this baby went on and on and on. And Bobby, I don't know if you're going to use the footage of me, but I was literally going to puke. Like I was gagging. Vera got up and walked away.
Couldn't. Yeah, no. What did you think of zit popping, Rose?
Disgusting.
It was disgusting.
I hated it. Awful. I couldn't look at the screen.
We
Couldn't do
couldn't.
it.
We couldn't look at it. We couldn't look at it.
I kept waiting for it to end.
But
Yeah.
also the big wheel thing, because we saw part 1 of that either last week or the week before, and there's something about that. I don't know if it's the proportions of seeing a large man on a tiny. I mean, it's called a big wheel, but it's a tiny
It's a tiny
thing
wheel.
for a large skater boy to ride.
Big wheel, small seat.
There you go. As usual, you can put it into words that I just simply can't. But it's so scary and dangerous. I don't know.
See, that one... That one was probably my favorite because that's the one that I related to the most. I've seen plenty of dudes go down hills on like little bikes and trikes and big wheels.
Have you done it?
Have I done it? I mean, I must have. Yeah, I must have done it
Yeah.
at some point.
I was so sheltered. I mean, like my grandfather had a barn or like a ranch. Like he bought and sold horses, so I was always surrounded by dirt and like dirt ramps of dirt and stuff when I was a kid, and we like roll down those hills and stuff. But like any sort of skateboarding ramp or bike ramp, I was much too fucking pussified for.
Oh my God, that shot of Bam dropping in on that slide. That was a sexy shot.
Bam Margera is the greatest skateboarder who has ever lived.
It was incredible.
It's good.
I thought he was going to wipe out.
It was so like it was again like because it cut to that shot of him. It was like this is gonna be really fucked up, and it's just boom.
Yep.
And he gracefully landed in the water. He's like a fucking ballerina.
It looked like one of those toys you would get at Toys R Us that you assemble and like you push a lever and like something goes boom and then it like goes on a track. Like when he
That is,
skates, it's
I
just
think
so.
that's also a classic, like country activity to do. Like let's take this old bike we don't care about and ride it into into the
Into
lake.
the lake. Into the lake. Yeah. Yep.
Or into the ocean,
Yes.
into a large body of water.
And this was before they'd figured out that you could make a bit like this much better if you put the person in a thematic costume and give the bit a premise that is silly. So, like in, I think it's the second movie, they do the same thing. They just ride a bike with a little jet on it into like the ocean, but they set it up with the person's wearing a cape and a helmet, and they say that they're about to jump the English Channel. And then they just
That's
go like
pretty
2 feet and like go right in.
Yeah, no, it's really the frame, but you can see I like it on this show, the show, when you see the little hints of framing. We didn't really, I mean, did any of the bits have any of that kind of framing tonight? I mean, Matador,
Door.
but like tonight, I think that's why I liked tonight, because it was just like stilts boxing. Although I wrote board for that because that was just people on stilts boxing. Oh, one I want to talk about is the mental institution.
Problematic bit.
Problematic bits.
And I was saying, I think we had you muted while we were watching it, but I said, thank God it's Rose, because you get the wrong zoomer on the show for this for this bit specifically. We could be in a lot of hot water, but it was relatively harmless. It was just them dressed up like orderlies, and somebody escapes out of a van in a straitjacket.
And the best part of the bit was the very long shot of one guy who was like trying to ascertain if this was real.
Yeah, but I mean, it was like the first time I've seen a bit where like that, the reaction actually seemed like he might have believed it was kind of real. Like it was
Yeah.
the first Jackass prank that
It's
worked.
just like,
See, that moment to me, I was like, oh, that's where the Eric Andre style comes from. Is like he does stunts that are a lot less extreme than Jackass, but he does them in front of a crowd, and that's like where the humor comes from. I think I think some of the bits I had trouble finding much entertainment in. I'll say the fire hose one, the stilts, I was just very nervous, and the blackhead one was just disgusting. But I like the ones that were a little on the sillier side. So I like the Matador one a lot. I like the big wheel. I feel like there was one other that I'm forgetting.
how did you guys feel about the very short toilet one?
Oh, that was in a lot of ways the best of the night.
It was just
Very humble.
Dave England
wholesome
going on down a
silliness.
toilet on a toilet. Did he have the newspaper?
He had a newspaper.
He had the newspaper.
Yeah. Which you've pointed out is the key to the entire
Yes.
completing.
If you're gonna poop in public, you must have the newspaper. Then it's art.
Yeah.
It is
Really the punchline of the whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's really, because you pointed this out on the episode we had Doug Lucenop on, that the tragedy of Dave England is he's again a very good skater, and talented and very charismatic, and clearly like wants to be a star on the show, but over the course of the series just gets reduced to poop jokes. But this is like, you can really see the crossover here because it's both skateboarding and
Pooping at the same time.
Yeah.
You had asked me earlier if I had done the big wheel one. I don't know if I did specifically that, but I did just remember that a classic one we used to do is in our gymnasium there were these really cheap like flat boards with like wheels on them, like little scooters.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Take that up a hill. You fall off pretty quickly, but you get like, a few seconds of fun out of that.
I think,
What is this?
This is, I think, very regional.
Yeah,
'Cause
you have to go to a public school that's very broke.
Yeah,
That's
and, like,
key to it.
I don't think on like I think it's like, you know, like east of Arizona, every child had a unit in gym class where you'd sit on these boards that weren't skateboards. They were these like square boards with wheels on them, and they were called scooters. And you'd play like hockey with them, or I remember playing like some weird version of kickball and soccer with them. They were very dangerous, very not fun.
Very dangerous.
I always remember really looking forward to it, like when we would do it in gym. But then like in the middle of it, be like, oh no, this sucks just as much as normal gym class because I'm having to get like sweaty and.
Yeah, the design of them was so that like kids could push them around really fast on the floor. Like that was kind of fun of it. But the thing was, the design of them, they're very low to the ground, to the point where if you're holding it, your fingers are like dangerously close to the floor while you're moving, and there's pretty much like no balance system or anything. Like they're horrible wheels. So sometimes the wheels would just like a wheel would just like catch and stop, and then a kid would just fall over.
It's so fucked
Anyways,
up.
you take those up a hill. It's a fun time.
That sounds very Jackass.
Yeah. No, in the Midwest and apparently in your part of Canada,
Yeah.
it's encouraged to be a jackass kid.
Yeah, this is
Very cool.
this is my culture, you know.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Spending a day just like building ramps for some reason.
To go down them.
I did.
Made of very flimsy plywood most of the time.
I'm sorry to bring up Freddy Got Fingered again because I know you haven't seen it.
Here we go.
Oh, it's a masterpiece.
But there is one other major plot point of the movie that does really cross over to Jackass, and it's him building a skateboarding ramp. That is just a main feature of the movie.
And of like most kids' lives was like, I'm going to make a half pipe in the backyard, and then you can't. You find out in the middle that you can't.
Yeah. No, it's why I'm jealous because like I know a couple people that have those in their yard now. I would never ride it because have you guys skateboarded? I don't feel like I've.
No, we are not skaters. We are not skaters on this show. No.
I encourage people to skate
Absolutely.
because I think skate culture is very important. I think it's influenced literally everything about me and everything I love.
Yeah.
But I will never, and I tried so hard to get on a skateboard when I was a kid. The closest I ever got were those dumb fucking scooters in gym class.
Yeah. Well, it's important for all of us to remember that Johnny Knoxville can't skate.
That's true.
Can't skate.
But I can't do what he does either.
You just don't want to.
That's true. Yeah.
I used to do graffiti, which is
Whoa.
basically skate. You know, that's skate culture.
Did you have a tag that you would that you would use often, or like some sort of symbol or?
Yes, but I'm not gonna say it.
That's totally fair.
Dang.
But it was a fun few years.
Yeah, I had a graffiti phase in college. I would do. It was also
Surrounded by a bunch of hooligans.
Yeah. Well, come on. You had to
What's
know.
happening here? What's going on here?
You decide to start a Jackass podcast. You had to know what kind of crowd you're gonna roll with.
I didn't know what I was getting into. Somebody get me out of here.
This is our
Ring,
gayest episode we've had. This is really like we have not talked at all about the gayness within Jackass, just in general.
Not yet.
Yeah.
I mean, men doing naked physical feats for each other always has an underlying homoeroticism.
You saw like
to
the
it.
least of it tonight.
It was a very male touch light night, and in turn a very light gay panic night. But
I thought the fire hose part was the most.
It was a little gay.
homoerotic.
Yes.
So you said you didn't like Fire Hose. I understand that. But what I like about Fire Hose is that is like the product testing
Yes.
shtick of Johnny Knoxville, like testing out tasers and
I think this is a bit though that's more fun when you know the cast members. And like if you're coming in fresh, then it might be like that guy is getting hurt for no reason. But like if you know that Johnny Knoxville is a huge princess, then it's funny because they're getting like a chance to really just spray him with the hose more than is necessary.
yeah.
And they really relish having those moments.
He looked. I mean, I'm now just on like piss Johnny Knoxville watch. Like anytime I watch bits, because it's really disturbing when he gets upset. Because he's always smiling and like seems.
He's Vladimir Putin.
But I'm glad he's capable of. We'd love to have him on the show. It's good to get upset sometimes. Why am I being so like
Scared
today? What is going on?
Do you want to wear the hat?
Can I?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Give you bravery and strength.
I'm gonna be really. My head is so big.
That looks good.
Okay.
You can borrow it for the week.
Very chic. I want to ask. I was thinking while watching this that I think the most similar show that I like is I'm a fan of Kenny versus Spenny, and I was thinking while watching Jackass, the appeal of Kenny versus Spenny to me is that all the gross out shit is like fueled by this bizarre relationship that they have where they like are best friends but they just want to be sadists towards each other. Does Jackass have like, is there a competition to it? Is there is there any motivation besides like, hey, let's like kick ourselves in the balls and for fun?
There's a strong friendship dynamic. So okay, I'm gonna do a little history lesson real quick.
Okay.
So Jackass.
This is good because I don't think we've really actually done this. We haven't done it concisely on this.
It's going to be pretty short because I don't know very much. But Jackass was assembled from some existing kind of friendship pods. Basically, Bam's group CKY already existed and was already making videos. That was Bam and Ryan Dunn and that really annoying guy Brian DiCamillo who did the box, who was like calling the boxing match. He is problematic and not invited to the movies. So there was Bam's group that was already like a group of friends that already had like a skate business together making fucked up videos. And then Steve-O was kind of floating around doing weird shit in the scene, and like Johnny Knoxville and
trying to get into the circus.
Meanwhile, he did. He worked for Barnum and Bailey's for a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, he went through their school and was hired as a clown, and he like worked on a cruise ship.
That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff Tremaine, the director, and Johnny Knoxville, and I think Chris Pontius were coming over from, and Wee Man were coming over from Big Brother magazine, which was the big skate magazine. And how were they connected to Spike?
Spike helped out with Big Brother, but
okay.
Big Brother
So Spike was kind of involved with Big Brother too. So Spike had just gotten
Spike Jones.
Spike Jones.
Wow.
So who is also a skater.
Crazy.
So like he had just won an Oscar, and he was friends with all of these like underground skaters, and Johnny Knoxville had just blown up through doing photo spreads for Big Brother magazine where he would like shoot himself with a gun. Just like do like
Sick.
terrifying things because he can't skate, but he wanted to be in that scene and be cool.
It's kind of contextualized, sort of like it's like product testing.
Yeah.
Which again is very
That's where he comes from.
classic. That's very like
Feels
classic
very 90s.
comedy. Like I don't know. Like feels very like, hey kid, run.
Do you like violence?
Yeah, check out this pot. Check out this. Zip, like it's very.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm trying.
This
to
is a
start.
very interesting dance.
This is my impression of the history of comedy.
Okay. Well, anyway, long story short, Johnny Knoxville was pretty much a failed actor.
Yeah.
He already had a family. He was like, fuck, I'm getting too old to ever become, Leonardo DiCaprio or whatever he was hoping for. And so he shot himself in the chest with a gun, wearing a bulletproof vest, and like did all these things to try to die, got in the magazine. All these guys pitch this show through Spike Jonze. Spike Jonze gets them a meeting at MTV because he thinks they're cool and he just won an Oscar. And the show is picked up through MTV. Very low budget. So the goal of the show was to keep the show going. And each one of the guys was getting paid per bit that they pitch and that they actually shoot. So everybody was trying to get paid by doing the craziest stuff and like becoming a star through this show. And like, you know, Steve-O and Chris Pontius were homeless through the first season, like living out of a car. Yeah. So there's like a lot of scrappy desperation trying to get this thing off the ground. And I think that was the main motivation. History lesson complete.
That was good. Because
Thank you.
I needed that. I needed that brush up too, because sometimes I have face blindness. I don't remember anything that isn't about me. I remember some things about you because you're my best friend. I remember some things about you. And I know your name is Rose.
Hello. Johnny Knoxville, I thought, was noticeably more entertaining than everyone else. I'm not sure why, because I don't know what talents it takes to be a jackass, but he just seemed to be very fun to watch.
It's just because I think of what you were saying, like, he was a failed actor. Like, he is like a musical theater dork, and like, I could also, I don't know, like, I think he's not a conventional leading man, but I can see it. Like, I can actually really see it. And
he looks like someone who could, and I think he did end up acting and stuff after Jackass, didn't he? But he seems like someone who could have been like a, you know, star of American Pie or something.
He did. He did The Ringer, which again I think we're gonna watch.
Oh, awful!
It's funny that you say American Pie because
terrible.
he did Dukes of Hazzard with Stifler.
He did do Dukes of Hazzard with Stifler. Is Paris Hilton in that?
No, it's
Jessica Simpson.
Jessica Simpson.
I wish it was Paris Hilton.
Me too.
That'd be. I wonder if you're watching at home and you know how to deep fake.
Or if you know Paris Hilton.
I was in Paris Hilton's house once, and I fell in her pool. Can I tell this story? It has nothing to do with Jackass.
Please.
So
my gosh, this is a bling ring scenario.
This is the bling ring.
You were in the bling ring.
I worked on the movie The Bling Ring.
You did?
Directed by Sofia Coppola.
I didn't know that.
My first job in LA was working for her brother.
Did you actually?
Yeah, I did.
I thought that was a joke. Okay.
I started
That's cool.
at the
I like
top
that movie.
and fell.
Now you're here.
Yeah, no. I am how it actually works in Hollywood. You start really high up and then you just settle.
So did you fall in the pool while you were working on the bling ring?
Yes. But I was let me set this up. I was a PA
History
on
lesson.
the bling ring. This is kind of jackassy because, you know, violence to your body. But I was at Paris Hilton's house because they actually shot at the celebrities' houses that the actual bling ring stole from. If you're not familiar with the bling ring, it was this group of really rich, shitty kids who would break into rich people's homes during award shows to steal their shit. Which is really cool, but again, they were like kids from fucking Chatsworth, like. But
and the film, the film got a lot of negative reviews, but I think it's actually very good, and I think it's a good companion to Spring Breakers, which we mentioned
totally. Earlier. I mean, like it's a great Sofia Coppola movie. Every criticism, sorry, I'm going off on another tangent, but every criticism I see of Sofia Coppola just upsets me because it's like there are a lot of rich people that make movies. There are a lot of rich, annoying people that make movies, and she's a beautiful fucking filmmaker. Regardless, I worked on this movie as a PA. I was at Paris Hilton's house. Okay? And Paris Hilton has a pet pig. She has a hog. She has a pet hog.
That's true. I know
it's a very
this.
big.
It's
huge. It's a big.
Somebody get me out of here!
It's a big hog. And it was blocking the doorway. And this was the only thing Sofia Coppola ever said to me. It was blocking the doorway. And she said, will you move the pig out of the way? Because Harris is trying to get through. And Harris was the DP of the movie, who was like this 500-year-old DP. It was his last movie. He was amazing, legendary, wonderful, beautiful human. but probably was too old to be making the movie. Regardless, I moved the pig out of the way. I lifted it because it was a big fat pig and it was stubborn and it wouldn't move out of the fucking doorway. And then I was so, like, nobody was around to notice how absurd the situation was. So I was texting my friend back home, and as I was texting, like, hey, I just picked up Paris Hilton's pig, I walked right into her pool. I walked into her pool.
Wow.
Because it was an in-ground pool, and I fell in, and I was soaked.
Like
And-
this is like you're at the beginning of a comedy about you like finding your career in Hollywood.
Yeah. I mean, in a way,
Was that the beginning of the descent?
that was the beginning of the descent. Because, like, I mean, like, it really was all downhill from there. Because I think I low-key got fired from that job. I can't really remember. But not for falling in a pool, for different reasons that isn't interesting. But that is my Paris Hilton pool story.
Vera, as the Zoomer on here that's gonna write the Google Doc that's gonna cancel you. I have to hold you accountable for posting a hot take on Twitter about Sofia Coppola's critics being wrong when you have clearly a very close relationship with Sofia Coppola, which is not disclosed.
You did move a pig when she told you to.
That is true.
You guys
I am
are basically married.
basically Nick Cage.
I mean, I watched The Godfather. She's in the family. So like now that you've done that, like
You're in the family too.
you're in.
It is. I'm not afraid of the Coppolas.
You're gonna have to put that pig's head on a pillow.
Well, they'd do that to me to send the message. Because my biggest regret from that day is not because I got to use one of Paris Hilton's towels, and that was really cool because it was so soft and it was pink and it was like exactly what you and like I really just should have stolen it. I should have stolen it.
Isn't there a scene in The Bling Ring where they specifically point out how nice her towels are? I'm pretty sure that is like a moment of
That sounds true.
Probably. This was also around the time where I was drinking a lot and doing a lot of pills, so that was probably
Sick.
also why I got fired.
Hollywood legend, queen, we stand.
Cancel me, daddy.
All right.
He's just shouting to the universe, please put me out of my misery so I can just stop seeking attention. Do we have any other bits?
Blindfolded skateboarding, which was Dave England skateboarding blindfolded, and there's a bunch of kids around, and he falls, and then he tells all the kids to not do what he did.
I felt like this show kind of made me feel old because when they would do something like blindfold skateboarding, I'd just be like, oh, geez, shouldn't be doing that. That's dangerous, fellas.
That's what we say half the time we watch this show. We're like, that's a bad idea.
Oh,
Don't
it's not
do
a good
that,
idea.
boys.
That's not safe.
Well, it's because they're children.
Absolutely.
They really, I mean, that's why I also liked him saying to those kids, like, safety first, because it's like
Safety first.
safety first to you too, because a lot of you fellas aren't wearing helmets while you're doing these bits.
They're not wearing
I'm
helmets.
really surprised. Like, I don't know what injuries there have been, but I'm surprised that like they aren't all dead by this point. Like, I'm surprised that, like, Johnny Knoxville didn't get killed doing this shit. It's nuts, some of the stuff that they're doing. I kept waiting, even just something as simple as the stilt fight, you can snap your leg doing that. Like, all of these things are so dangerous, even like in their simplest forms.
Yeah.
I know they have set medics,
Oh, definitely.
and they go to the hospital a lot.
They're all in the hospital right now.
They're in the hospital now. We
They're
don't
making-
know that. We don't know that. But we know that 2 of them were in the hospital a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, can I ask, because this is probably going to be the only time that I get into a serious conversation with Jackass. How does Dirty Grandpa fit into the Jackass extended universe?
Bad Grandpa. Dirty Grandpa is the
Robert
the
De Niro.
movie.
Those are two different movies.
Two movies.
Shit.
But it's all part of the same cinematic universe.
I don't condone Dirty Grandpa.
No.
I feel like another one of those movies just came out. Like, I swear to God, I just saw an ad for a Grandpa Getting Up to Mischief movie.
Grandpa Getting Up to Mischief is the name of the new movie.
But that one's historic because it's the first non-binary grandpa.
Yes. And it's a foreign film. It's British.
It's a he/him lesbian grandpa.
It's an Irish film.
An Irish art film. Why is that? I don't know why maybe it's problematic that I'm laughing at that.
It's fine.
Grandpa is spelled with an X instead of an A.
Yeah.
Dirty Grandpa or Bad Grandpa is a great film and is like moving. I think it's a great. It's worth checking out because you know why too. It's like it evolved, and that's why like I think the Jackass movies are good because it's like they evolved the format into telling a whole story. Like it's all pranks like out in the real world and stuff, but it tells a story of a grandfather's love, and that's a beautiful story.
And it also comes out of, they do a lot of dressing up as old men on Jackass. They'll get in, like the whole team will get into that full makeup and do street stunts. And they started doing more of this because they were becoming famous. And so it was harder and harder to do street stunts without getting recognized. So they started getting into full old man prosthetics and sometimes old women prosthetics. Looking at you, Spike Jonze. And like do their street stunts that way. So I think, you know, Bad Grandpa came out of seeing promise in that look and in that character.
Yeah.
And Johnny Knoxville getting to live his dream of being an actor, but having to do it within the prosthetics of an old man.
We should watch Bad Grandpa soon. We should start, you know, it's an off pod convo, but we should start watching the movies, I think, to sort of build to the fourth one, because apparently it's coming out in March.
For science.
It's for science, yeah. I want to do a segment tonight that we haven't done since I got facial feminization surgery.
Uh-oh.
This segment tonight is called the Jackass Dare. And let's get some sort of 3D animated skate, like graffiti style, like
graffiti style
skateboarding, Jackass Dare.
Wait, Rose, mime spraying a spray can at us? Yeah.
We realized last week that we're on a green screen. Or 2 weeks ago, we realized that we were on a green screen and we can do things like,
we didn't see it.
We're on a roller coaster. Oh, you know, we shouldn't do it a bit again. But like, yeah. Sorry. So Jackass Dare. I need to eat before
you have a Jackass Dare?
I have a Jackass Dare. I have a Jackass Dare. Rose, I have a Jackass Dare for you. It's just a dare.
Oh, no.
It's basically you just dare somebody to do something, but we've branded it as a Jackass Dare.
It's different.
It's different because it's called I Jackass Dare you to say something nice about American filmmaker Kevin Smith. If you want, you don't have to.
Drum roll.
No, I can. His movies are short.
Ding 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 ding.
That's
confetti.
Keeps
confetti
some
made
trim.
Kevin Little J and Silent Bob's. The budget for the animation in this episode is going to be $17,000.
17.
Thank you for doing that. The only reason I did that is because you used to host a podcast about
I did, yeah.
Who, unlike this show, because I grew up with his movies, and there probably was a time where I would have associated Jay and Silent Bob with Jackass.
Wait, no, I do have a good thing, which is that because of Kevin Smith, Jason Mewes got to have a little career in Hollywood. That's nice. He got to make a movie. He got to star in one. That's cool, I guess. I like Jason Mewes.
I love Jason Mewes. The only reason we ever got a high art Jason Mewes movie about recovery, what's it called? Google Jason Mewes addiction recovery movie and see it. It is immaculate. So that was my Jackass stare.
It's really good.
Thank you.
Well, Rose, I
I
guess
feel like a jackass.
I guess I'm sitting here. I'm wondering. It's your first time watching Jackass in a structured way. Talking about Jackass, what do you think of Jackass? What's your takeaway?
I think it was. I think it is very specifically made for the era of like cheap home media before YouTube videos were a thing.
It's definitely a pre-YouTube format. Yeah.
Because it feels just like like skate compilation tape and stuff like that, like stuff I'll say that the biggest thing that struck me is that it felt very authentic. It did feel like an authentically like scrappy skater project, and I think that was very endearing. And I totally see like why people would get into it. Me personally, I'm probably not gonna be watching any more Jackass anytime
What?
soon.
Somebody get me out of here!
I love this new character you're doing. The somebody get me out of here guy.
Okay. All right. I mean,
You need
If you did that character, if you did that character on SNL, they would like keep it around for 3 seasons.
I'll send an audition tape.
Did you ever audition for SNL?
Oh no.
I feel like
No.
I'm the only one out of like my like 50, like because I was like a 15-year-old improv prodigy. I'm the only one out of my group that didn't audition.
Good for you.
Yeah, I wear that as a badge of honor. Fuck SNL. I think we should wrap this up.
Yeah. I just wanted to also follow up. Do you think that because we've talked a lot about how like the marketing for Jackass and like the reality of it sometimes doesn't match up. Like people will have, I don't know, was it exactly what you expected or was it different from what you expected?
I thought it would be a lot more produced than it was. I was expecting something more along the lines of Punk'd with Ashton Kutcher. Something like that has a bit more of that like MTV infusion of like, whoa, we're doing crazy radical stuff. The only thing I noticed there was like, you know, the rock punk music, which just felt like authentically skate. So that's the biggest difference. I think especially with the movie trailers, they make it out to be a lot like wackier.
Yeah.
And this was a very raw kind of a show.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like been the biggest takeaway from me to like really watching it like this every week is like, oh yeah, it's just like you're just watching these
It's
things.
just YouTube.
Yeah. I love it, but it's good. It's good YouTube.
It's like they're putting together their own fail compilation.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask though, did I just watch a full episode? Is that like what an episode looks like?
I mean, it is what an episode looks like, but we just have like a box set, so we just played like a chunk off the box set, and they're not actually, we don't know how they structure them.
Yeah. It's the closest we can get to like just turning on MTV and Jackass is on, which is what
And that feels like what it's made for. Like I can totally see just throw on MTV and like these dudes are fucking around and you're hanging out with your friends. But it's instant laughs. You don't have to have a plot or anything. You're just like, let's watch these dudes fuck around on skateboards or whatever.
if I ever become an eccentric millionaire, I'll have a pet.
So if you become a millionaire,
yeah. Are you calling me eccentric?
give me my hat.
Well, more to discuss there, I guess. I thought I was normal as fuck. I would just play Jackass like 24/7 on, because I think Kanye plays the Star Wars prequels.
Yes.
He plays the Star Wars prequels 24/7, which I would probably also
Oh, really?
do. Yeah.
The last thing I saw, he
That's
had
amazing.
a wall that he had turned into a giant movie screen that was playing Blade Runner 2049, which I thought was such an awesome, perfect Kanye choice.
It's
I
a
love it.
beautiful Kanye choice.
I know we're not supposed to. Can we say we both love Kanye?
I love Kanye.
Oh, I love Kanye.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
glad we're
I'm
on
a
this.
huge
Oh, I
fan.
feel so good now.
Yeah, no, that's great. I feel like I just unclinched my asshole. Like,
I'm
That's-
a massive I'm a legit just massive fan of his music. I think he's a genius, and as a celebrity, he's very silly, and he's a very silly man. That's all I can say.
he's really. I mean, he's what Trump should have been. Is just like.
And he tried to be the updated version, and nobody let him.
No, thank God. But it was really nice seeing like white cis women get really upset by it because they were the ones that were most like Kanye West is president because they're always looking for like fucking their reason to hate on black men.
I don't know if the history books will ever tell this tale, but I do remember there was a very weird 48-hour period where Kanye announced he was running for president, and then every pretty much every white Dem account suddenly got really racist, barely concealing it. And then after that, they just all went back to being
because they
you know,
realized it was ridiculous.
to-
He was never going to. There was never any chance. There's no need to
No.
worry about Kanye West becoming president.
Yeah,
kids.
yeah. And I was seeing people post how fucking insulting do you think it is that you think that Kanye is gonna turn the black vote just by appearing and the whole thing obviously it was a marketing stunt,
Yeah.
Kanye's a marketing guy.
But I think that's great. I think it's great. I think everybody should run for president now. I think the office is so undignified
It's true.
that we should the show, not us, but just the podcast should be the first podcast to run for president.
I think decisions might be made better if they were watching Blade Runner on the wall of the White House.
True. That's
Imagine.
true. Well, what Kanye realized, which Trump also realized, is that there's basically no negative to running for president. You can just do it if you're rich enough, and there's no consequences. So it's hey, why the hell not?
Yeah.
It's true.
Something you
If
always point out.
I was an eccentric millionaire, no, I wouldn't run for
Wear the
president.
hat.
I'm not that great.
That's the eccentric millionaire hat.
What were you gonna say?
If I was an eccentric
Oh.
millionaire, I'd build a Miyazaki-style airship and live in the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds great.
A zeppelin. Yeah.
Like in Metalocalypse,
What would you
Like Metalocalypse.
they have a floating castle.
I gotta watch Metalocalypse.
It's my favorite.
It's very funny.
It's very good.
What would you have as an eccentric millionaire? I don't think you've said.
Metalocalypse house.
Okay, cool.
This hat. What would I have if I were the eccentric millionaire? If I was the eccentric millionaire. If I was the eccentric millionaire. I actually did a voice acting job this summer, and I just did Murderface's voice, and nobody noticed.
Really?
And I was paid. If I was an eccentric millionaire, I would, obviously an island, obviously my own airplane. So what I would do is I would build my own airstrips. My property that I would buy would be my own places to land my vintage biplane all across the world. So therefore you can't fuck with me. I can go wherever I want. It's my
Howard
airplane.
Hughes.
And I just land somewhere, and I'm not paying to land there because it's my land, and so I'll just show up in
I'll
a
tell you right
country.
now, I'm not trusting any eccentric millionaires with islands. And,
Yeah, I was-
I have
2021.
both,
Yeah, you're kind
and this hat.
You're walking an Epstein line. You were skirting around, but it was you're good lightsaber version of
the
of-
island
you're
is
the- you're the
floating,
white
like in
hat
Metalocalypse.
yeah. No, you want to be an anime character.
Unfortunately, I am an anime character. If you Google Ember Knight, it's a bunch of stuff about me, and then so much anime.
Really? Is
Yeah,
there
there's an Ember Knight.
Oh no.
There's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
There's-
like not attractive.
You Google me, you just get a lot of old looking old ladies. And one day I'll be one of them.
Yep.
Thank God. Sorry. I don't know if we recorded this part, but I realized today I need to eat food before the show because we record so long. So I think I might bring a cheeseburger next time and eat it while we're watching the show.
I shockingly have not eaten today, which is not typical for me because I woke up late for my gay date.
For your gay
and
sex.
then
Yeah.
I spent the rest of the day having gay sex. So
Do you think?
Wow.
Are you going to see her? Congratulations, by the way.
Round of applause.
thank you. Thank you.
Well, then I guess just to close on, do you think you guys are going to see each other again? Is it
Is it serious?
I think so. Yes, I think we are going to see each other again.
for real? She's been in the room the
She's
entire
here?
time. This is like an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Does she like Jackass?
That was unrelated. That was unrelated.
She's in the corner like, somebody get me out of here.
Hey, full circle.
Rose, do you have anything you want to plug?
If everything goes well, I should have a new video on my channel very soon. But I'm not gonna announce anything. So go check out FlowerGuardian on YouTube, and there may or may not be new content, depending on how fast I am.
If there isn't new content, do not worry. Watch Rose's video about
Hold
Twin
on,
Peaks.
if there isn't new content, I say hold on to your butts because
Good advice.
it's a coming. Hold your horses, buddy.
I found it VeraDrew22 on Instagram and Twitter. Also, look up my Patreon, patreon.com/VeraDrew22. That's where you can get all the episodes to my other podcast, Hot Topics with Vera Drew, brought to you by Buco de Beppo.
I'm a cool guy named Ember Knight, and I'm going to have an airplane one day.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for
Bye.
being here,
Thank you
Rose.
for
You're
being
cool.
here. And good luck with the rest of your
Goodbye to
your gay,
Jackass.
yeah, your gay experience and trans rights.